to live stream.
Okay, this is how it works. So it's on like Google and everything, YouTube. Mhm.
And we are here and we are live streaming. So we're live streaming right now from our Zoom, and I'm just waiting for it to come on, but it is recording us right now.
Okay, this is how it works. So it's on like Google and everything, YouTube.
Yep.
And we
So I just muted me.
Okay.
So let me see if I get a share. I don't have a share link right now. It might take a minute to generate it
Okay.
because it's going to give me the opportunity to edit. So here we are. Grace and peace, everyone. Grace and peace, and happy Women's Month. We are here this evening with mental health therapists. We're jumping right in with mental health therapist, licensed mental health therapist, Kezzia Here. Welcome to Healing Her Story. I am excited to speak to you, excited to have you on. Thank you so much for being on with us this evening.
Thank you, Jill, for inviting me. I'm excited to to do this with you.
Yes, so we are celebrating Women's Month, right? Celebrating women. And I have been very quiet. I've been very quiet in the group. I've been very quiet. Just this, like, oh, I'm gonna post this and then I don't post it. And so I just wanted to bring you in. I was like, we can talk. Um Kezia is also an author, and I wanna show we're gonna talk about this book. We are going to talk about self-love. We're going to talk about journaling. We're going to talk about why journaling is self-love. Um, but before we get into it, I really want to hear about your journey to being a mental health professional. Like, why are you a therapist?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's really started. Well, first of all, I'm West Indian, I'm from Trinidad, and mental health is now it's getting better, but before it's not a thing, right? When I was in Trinidad, I didn't hear anything about a therapist. But I came from a very traumatized childhood and always wanted to know, like, how has my past pain and trauma impacted me as an adult? And so I actually started studying psychology, more so of like understanding the mind, understanding the brain, the traumatized brain, and then realizing that, oh wow, I can actually like not only help other people, learn how to overcome their pain, but also I can help myself throughout the process. So I started on that journey. My family did not really know what psychology was or therapy, and kind of was like, what are you doing here? But thankfully, now my family fully support what I'm doing, understand the importance of therapy. I wanted to learn how to treat myself, how to manage my trauma, my triggers, my pain. And while doing that, I was able to learn how to help other people. So that's like the main thing. I know it's very like a simple, like wanting to help people, but really that's exactly what it is. I want to help other women that looks like myself better understand their mind, and that way they can help treat their body.
And you make it sound simple, but I know, right? I'm not a Caribbean woman. I want to say I'm Caribbean adjacent, right?
Yes.
Um, What was it like when you first came to your family, your West Indian family, Trinidadian family, aunties from back home? And, we don't, because it's similar, Southern Americans, we share a lot, right? We are all of the diaspora, right? So, we didn't believe in banks.
Mhm.
Mental therapy, therapists, that was white people things,
Exactly.
right?
Hmm.
Going to go and sit in front of someone and tell them your business and tell them your problems. So what was the pushback? Did you get any pushback in the very beginning?
So not so much pushback. I think my family is very supportive. It's more so of like just trying to like understand what that look like, because for a lot of people they think mental health, they go to the extreme. They go to crazy. Oh, so you're gonna be dealing with a lot of crazy people. Are you gonna be safe? Are they gonna try to attack you? Right? We go to what we see on TV. And that's not, yes, people do struggle with severe mental health conditions and need to be hospitalized, but that's not what I do, right? I work with women just like myself, just like you, that, are feeling down, feeling anxious, to just need to understand the tools, right? And they want to dig a little bit deeper to understand like where their pain or their trauma is coming from. So it's more so of like psychoeducation when it comes to like my family, educating them on counseling, therapy, mental health, and how important it is really. And side note, a few of my family members are now like in therapy, so they get it.
I
They
love that.
totally get it now.
Yeah, I love that. And I think what you just said is key, is education,
Mhm.
right? It's really educating yourself on getting the help that you need, you know,
Right.
right? We don't have to be in a straight jacket. We don't have to be, really broken down. And the fact of the matter is, we don't even want to wait till we get to that part, that point, right? We don't want to get to the point where we're like laid out. What are a few signs that you can give us that is really time to go and sit with someone and see someone?
Yeah, so like if the symptoms persist, right? Like, so it's a difference between like, oh, I'm just feeling sad and I am down, I am depressed, right? So like low motivation, low energy, not eating, feeling extremely anxious, always worried, right? Uh, Feeling panicky. Uh, so these are some of the things like if it continue to persist for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I have client who've been struggling with these things for years and thinking like, okay, this is just me, I'll figure it out. And they don't figure it out. Right. So once it's happening consistently, you're missing maybe days at work or school, depending on where you are in your journey. You're not you struggle to come out of bed, right? Your place is not kept, is not clean. So all of those, like your personal life is being impacted, your work life is being impacted, then yes, it's time for some more help.
How does a person go years in that space of anxiety and trauma and depression? How and I know you work specifically with women, right? And is it all women, all ethnicities, all women?
So I mainly see women of color. And the men do sneak in. I take them sometimes, but I really want to create a safe space for women of color. And so unfortunately, right, the our society, our culture, therapy is not that much acceptable, right? Accepted. And so yeah, they go years without getting help because their mom went years without getting help. And it's okay because mom is always stressed. So I can be stressed.
Mm.
Right. And so we're learning these like bad habits from our parents. And we're learning to continue to suffer instead of like accepting help and recognizing that we actually need help.
So can you say that it's generational?
Oh, it's generation to generation to generation. Unfortunately, right? We're not only healing ourselves, we're healing our grandmother, our great grandmother, our great, like we're healing all our ancestors when we walk into a therapeutic space.
Mm,
So, I'm being conscious of that, right? My clients come in and they're dealing with their current pain and their current hurt, but they're also dealing with things that has happened to their mother and things that has happened to their mother, right? So it's a constant healing process
mhm,
that has to happen.
mhm. And then we have the epigenetics, right, of what we are actually carrying. So, you know, um, we will have our own stuff, but then we also will be carrying, like, genetically, what was given, what was downloaded to us, as well. And
Yeah, some
how
of
do
those things are good. Some of the, survival skills are necessary,
yeah,
right? But then some of them, like, we don't need it anymore. We're not in that like crisis mode and we don't need it anymore. And it's time to like release it.
how do you tell the difference when someone comes to you and like, this is something you don't need anymore? Right, we're not in the 70s, we're not in the 1920s, we're not in the 1800s anymore, right? So how do you know the difference?
Think especially with trauma, it's a lot of the clients are still in that trauma survival mode.
Mm,
And I want them to get into like the thriving state, right? And so there's still like paranoia, there's still fear, there's still uncertainty. The symptoms that they had in the beginning of the pain or the trauma still persists or even have gotten stronger.
mhm.
Right. So it's like learning to, first of all, identify what that is, what exactly is triggering you, what is exactly making you feel down or sad or anxious. And then how can we work together to reduce that so you can, heal a little bit more.
Thank you. So this is Healing Her Story, and we get into your story, what
Yes.
you triumphed over, right? The trauma that we've triumphed over, the tragedy that we have been victorious over. And we all have a story. And what I had in mind when I was thinking of you coming on, and we talked about this a little bit the other day, is just a lot of times people don't think that when we do this healing work, they don't
Yeah.
they don't really think about you, like, you're being in service. I'm coming to you,
Hmm.
you're helping me, and you have these answers, and oh my goodness, this was magical for me. I had this wonderful experience, and people go away never really thinking that you have your journey too.
Hmm.
And so I want to invite you into this deeper space now to really talk about not only your journey, your healing journey, but also what were the tools that you used along the way to heal from your pain, to reduce your triggers, and to be in the space where you are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually being able to support other people. So where does your journey to self-love, where does that begin
Yes.
for you?
I mean, like my trauma story really began when I was 6 years old, and my father tried to kill the entire family. Right. We lived in Trinidad. Like I said, I'm from Trinidad. And one night we didn't live with him. We lived with our grandparents, my mom and my sister and I. And he just started, we were sleeping. It was like late. We were all sleeping. And he light so we're in Trinidad, right? So keep that in mind. So he light the clothes that's on the line. He put gasoline on the clothes and he was like trying to light the match to like light up the house and basically burn us down. And it didn't work. I'm here, right? And my aunt tells this story where like we're inside, but behind in the window is the matches that just did not, it just didn't light. It didn't work. And my uncle found him and beat him up essentially, right? But thinking about like, oh my God, we almost lost our life. 6 years old, the entire family. And when you're in an island, when you live on an island, all the homes are connected. So where one home is my grandmother and myself and my sister and my mom. And then the next home is my aunt and her family. And then behind her is my uncle. So God forbid that had happened, we all could have lost our life that day. Right. So from that incident, I've always been a very anxious, paranoid, afraid of every little thing, from 6 years old all through my life. I think it's like no, no, maybe 5, 6 years ago, I've been able to understand my anxiety, right? Learn what is real, what is not real. And along with like your parent trying to take your life, it comes insecure attachment, right? So being very insecure in my relationship, now learning how to release codependency when it comes to my husband, of 20 years, and being able to like love myself and love him. So it took a lot of work. It took therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I am a therapist, but I had a therapist. It took spiritual, right? So going to church, um, uh, asking God to help me out when it comes to forgiveness. Right. My father passed away when I was like 7, 8. So he didn't live long.
Yeah.
He didn't live long, but he caused a lot of pain. And so it's like asking God, like, how come? Why did this happen? And asking God to like, how can I like move on and forgive this man so that way I can be a better like person for my husband. I don't have to have this insecure attachment, afraid of abandonment or afraid of, being abused or being like, harm, essentially. So from therapy, leaning on God, journaling,
Yeah.
journaling my story, writing it down, just any thoughts, any feeling, good, bad, whatever, just writing it down and not judging myself for anything. And I would say you too, Jill, right? Hypnotherapy, being able to come to you and we work through us forgiveness and learning how to like heal and release the anger. So it's so much anger when it comes to this man. And I still say this man. So there's still anger there, right? Because it's like, and I'm always diagnosing, always diagnosing him. Um, ever trying to learn like what is his mind? Like how to, what was going on there? Like um, and I don't think I'll ever get to that conclusion because he's not here anymore. But like learning how to just like release the resentment, release the anger and move towards forgiveness. It's still a work in progress, but I've learned that I don't need to completely forgive him to love me. So once I love myself, everything else will just happen on its own time.
Would you say that this experience, what you went through, it really informed your choice to be a therapist?
Yes, definitely. Like really wanting to know what could possibly happen to someone where they feel like they can like they want to take their child's life. Like that is like something's wrong with that brain. And so like really wanted to understand the mind and how it functions and how it works and how someone could love someone one day. And my mom and his relationship was very abusive, right? Like love someone one day and then want to literally kill them the next day. Um, and then for myself, it's like, how can I learning how to manage my traumatized, triggered body? What does that look like? And to tell you the truth, the school was helpful, but it didn't help me heal.
Right.
It helped me learn, but it didn't really help me heal. As I became a therapist and I work on healing other people, that's how I heal.
Yep.
Right. So the interesting thing about being a therapist is that you heal through your work.
Yep.
Yeah, you know this. You heal through your work.
Yep.
So yes, I was in my own therapy, but I really feel like me helping other women heal from their trauma also helped me heal from mine.
Yeah. Because you have to become that conduit, for that transformation, and you get touched by it too. You can't help but not be touched by what comes from the heavens, from God, from the learning, from the training, and it comes through you, from your heart to your client's heart. So yeah, I definitely have experienced sometimes the very same thing that I am working on,
Yes.
somebody shows up, right? So,
Yes.
what would you say was the first step for you to begin on the path of forgiveness?
Mm. I think the prayer that you taught me, the Hawaiian prayer, um, I can never say the word. But I'm sorry, please forgive me. And that was more of like self forgiveness, right? Like working on forgiving myself first. So it's two parts of this story. So the first journey when it comes to like trauma was when I was a child and almost being murdered by my father. But the second traumatic thing that has happened to me in my life is losing a child. So, and that's where I met you, right? That's where I reached out for your help. And so it's almost about like 4 or 5 years ago, we lost a child. She born when I was 21 weeks with her, and her name was Kiana, and she lived for 2 hours. And so like holding her and seeing her last breath, obviously that was very traumatic for my husband and I. And that part, like being able to forgive myself for not being able to keep her in my stomach, that above all else has been like the hardest thing for me to do by far. But throughout the years, just being able to, like, it's not your fault. Your body did the best it could at the time, right? And just like reassuring myself that it's okay. I attended grief group as well. My church has a grief group, and that was very helpful. And one thing that they said was focus on what is and not what if. Like what if I had, I don't know, lay down more, or what if, I had went to the hospital sooner. So instead of focusing on the what if, focus on the what is. So what you actually did. I did go to the hospital. I did do all the things that the doctor told me, right? So focusing on those type of things was also helpful as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And would you say at this point, what's your self love, self care practice like for yourself now?
Currently, today, well, journaling. I have my own journal.
Yes.
This is the book, but in the book, I am like literally journal. I don't know if it's like good or bad, but I literally journal. But yeah, I have a 30-day journaling that I'm currently doing right now. So that's what I'm doing with this particular book. But in general, I live at the gym. I
Yes.
need to like move my body. I need to feel strong. I need to feel like I'm doing something. So if it's like dancing, swimming, yoga, Pilates, that's like my go-to. If I'm not moving my body, something's wrong. So journaling, moving my body, eating healthy as best as I can. Also, just doing different activities, things that brings joy to myself.
Mhm.
So for us like doing a hobby, right? So I am a little Pinterest crafty person.
Okay. I love Pinterest.
So yeah, so like doing these little crafts and stuff with my daughter, just any little thing that brings joy to you, right? Like it doesn't take much to love yourself. You
Mm,
really just have to think about what is the thing that I need right now, and that's what you do.
mm,
It really could be a simple thing. It could really just be I'm going for a walk. I want to take a couple of deep breaths. I want to listen to my favorite song. I want to cook my favorite meal. It really does not take that much, but I think people feel like it has to be like a really big grand thing. I need to go to the spa. I need, you know.
yeah, no, I love that you said that, that it doesn't take much because most of the time we do think that, right? And myself included. Every now and then, I mean, I was like, okay, I need a massage. And I'm looking, and this particular place where I wanted to go, it was a very difficult sign up process. And I was like, what am I doing?
Hmm.
I can just go around the corner in the neighborhood. Like, what do I need? And I actually had to ask myself that question, what you're saying. This is like 2 days ago. It was complicated. They hold a deposit, they send you back. You have to give them you give them three of your choices of when you want to come. And it felt
Mhm.
like right up, I was like, this doesn't feel like self-care. Right?
Felt like
This
work.
right? I'm like, this sign up process is self abuse. So I'm gonna dip out of there and just do what you said. The simplest thing was to just walk to a place and go and have my massage. So I think it's really important that you said that. I like that you said that. And I want to come back to journaling, and you mentioned doing some Pinterest with your daughter, and I believe that your daughter is, she helped co create some spaces in here. So tell me about
Yes.
that.
So my so I hired my daughter. She works for me in the summertime, and so her job was to help me create some of the prompts and help. She's very artistic and help me create some of the drawing and coloring pages that's in the journal. So like this one, um, the sun is but this one here, she sketched this out, and then the artist we hired finished it up for us.
Okay,
But she wanted to be in. She didn't really want to be involved. She had to be involved.
have to be
But
involved.
it's good to teach them, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. And then this I love.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted the images to look like us. It can't. Why would it be a book about self-love and then people can't recognize themselves in the images? So I really wanted to. I really wanted to be about just be more realistic with the images. This one here. So this keep in mind this is my book that I took for myself. So I've been coloring it and everything like that. So in the book you can color the
Mm-hmm.
coloring pages. So we did this one, and my husband was like, "Why did you give her stretch marks? And why is her boobs not perky?"
And you said,
And I said, "Because she's a real woman, right? We wanted it to be realistic. I have stretch marks. My boob is no, okay. I have two children. It's no longer perky. So why not?"
like it's before, like before you have your like this was like the supermarket and the refrigerator for your kids. Like this was their store. You know, is your body changes. So I love that, right? You know, stretch marks and
And
our
all.
body
Yeah.
just changes, and that's that as a woman who is in, I don't know if I'm in mid, like I guess I'm in my midlife, right? Um and how your body changed after
Mhm.
pregnancy. Like this is a book that really, you know, after you've had some type of physical transformation in a way that was, because it was shocking to me, right? That I was like, look at my stomach,
Yeah.
to really be able to embrace those changes. And now I'm shifting, I'm changing to another stage in my life of being a mature woman. And we really need the tools, you know. I kept thinking, I was like, what is this in my hair? There's something in my hair. And then I'm like, it's gray.
That's so
It's gray. That's what's in my hair. My hair is, it's gray on my hair, you know?
yeah.
So
I
this
mean,
is really,
especially after losing a child
yeah.
and your body is still thinking it's pregnant and all this stuff, and your body you literally have to lose the pregnancy weight, but you're going through all this, your boobs are still full and all this stuff is happening, but you have no baby, right? So that alone is traumatic. And then being able to like after feeling like your body has let you down and it didn't work, and so now working on loving something that you felt like didn't show up for you,
Hmm.
right? So like it's a constant battle every single day, choosing to love your body, choosing to give your body gratitude, right? It's like always saying thank you, like my wound, thank you, you did kept her for 21 weeks, so thank you for that, right? Just still expressing gratitude, even though, the pain, the grief is still there.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
This is very important because we go through, as women, when we go through, sometimes we make a choice, but then there are other times where our bodies, something happens, right? And we don't always know what it is. I After my son, I had two miscarriages,
Mhm.
and after the second one, the my doctor was like, the second you know that you're pregnant, like, get in here, come in here, because we just did testing, and what we found is that um, when the fallopian, not the fallopian tube, when the look, I don't even know the names anymore. I feel so,
I don't
but
know, girl.
right, I'm like, what's the name when they get the tube, when they get fed?
Uterus lining,
Not the uterus lining, but the feeding tube that goes for the
the
baby.
umbilical cord.
The umbilical cord.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I don't.
Yes, we're not doctors here, but the once it started to form, my blood was clotting, and it
Mm.
wouldn't allow it to form, and so
Mhm.
the the fetus it wasn't getting the nutrients, and
Mm.
it didn't have the umbilical cord, and so
Okay.
I had to, they gave me, this is a story unto itself, which I will not get into now, but basically I had to give myself a shot in my belly every day of my pregnancy,
Wow.
every day of my pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah. To help form that umbilical cord, to keep my blood thin, and you know, we got to the point, and you know, she's here, and
Yes.
So
So my therapist brain now, Jill, will be like, so what is one thing you can say to your stomach? To, that just even that area where you had to put in the needle every single day. What is one positive gratitude thing you can say?
you know what happened? Because was I did not like needles. I don't like needles. And my husband was like, I'll do it for you. And I was like, no, because you seem way too excited. Right? I was like, it's just, I'm going to work it out. And you want to know what happened? I have stretch marks on my
Mhm.
belly. And I found that if I gave myself the needle inside of a stretch mark, I
Mm.
could barely feel it.
Okay.
So I give thanks to the stretch marks, and I thank my belly. I give gratitude
Yes.
to my belly for even allowing me to figure that out. I had to like stand in the bathroom one day and just rub my belly and prepare myself, every day. And maybe after the fourth day, I figured out. I was like, I think that's a stretch mark. So that became the areas that I would go to. So yes, that one thing I would say that I could thank my belly for is for giving me ease in something
Mm.
that I was so fearful to do.
Our bodies are amazing.
Our bodies are amazing. So
Mhm.
I want to read something because this
Mhm.
this is this is not just a journal, right? And then
No, yeah.
it is I would say this is a journey in and of itself, because what you have in here are exercises and affirmations and coloring and direction and guide. Like you have a this book is a therapist in and of itself.
You know exactly what I wanted it to be is like you're traveling with your therapist, right? It's literally a therapist guiding you towards self-love. And I wanted like anyone who picked it up is like, okay, this person cares about whoever picked up this book.
Yeah, it is. You can feel it, right? So what you have in here is it's a journey. You giving direction, thinking about what you have learned about loving your body.
Mhm.
Write a letter to your future self, sharing what you want your future self to know about your body. Consider what advice or insights you would offer to your future self and how you can take steps towards that vision today. But then after we I don't know if you can see,
Yeah.
after we read over here, we do our writing, then it's time to reflect on the other side. So it is an immersive experience in your self-care and your self-love. It is really giving you time to really learn, think, interact with your own self. The affirmation, repeat me. I am learning, I am worthy of investing in myself. I
Mhm.
love myself. I am
Yes.
beautiful just the way I
Here
am.
I am.
I have
Mhm.
the power of choice. My
I love
body
that one.
is beautiful.
Mhm.
My body is deserving of respect, love, and tenderness. I
Mhm.
don't have to be strong. I can be a soft person.
Yeah, I really wanted that one there. I can be a soft person because, as women of color, right? As Black women, we feel like we need to be strong all the time and don't even like understand what softness is. Like, I could spend a whole session with my clients trying to figure out what softness look like for them, right? And so being able to allow yourself to be soft to release, not trying to control everything, right? I learned this from you, right? Not having that cape on, releasing the superwoman cape and placing the crown. And with the crown, you delegate, right? You release control. And so I really wanted people to be able to channel something else within themselves that's a little bit softer, a little bit kinder, and evoke some more self-love.
Yeah, I love the whole the whole conversation around being softer, being kinder. So let me ask you, as you have gone through your process, and yes, we are still in our journey, where do you give yourself grace?
Where do I give myself grace as a mom? Like I have two kids, 15 and 9. I'm trying not to be the perfect mother. There's no way I can be the perfect mother. So constantly giving myself grace and releasing the idea that I need to like be there everything as well. And this is where like releasing codependency comes in, right? So I also give myself grace when it comes to being a wife. Right. I don't have to, me and my husband don't have to be like this. Really thought we had to be like this.
Yes.
So we've been together since college. We've been together for 20 years. We've been married for 10 years. And literally, I used to be like, and it was a long distance relationship. So, which is or a long distance relationship, we're always on the phone. I learned how to love football so that way I can be around him on the phone because on Sundays he wouldn't talk to me. He's like, I'm not going to talk to you unless you watch the game with me. So now I learned to love football because I wanted to be able to be around him.
Yeah.
He's a former football player.
Hmm.
I literally was eating the same amount of food that he was eating.
Right.
Yes, that's how it was. Like we ate the same amount of food. We do so many things together. And then I'm like realizing like, what? Wait, why am I, our wedding was a Giants team, New York Giants theme wedding, right? So it's like all these things to prove my love to this man and making sure that he stays with me, right? Because remember, dad tried to harm me.
Right.
So it's like fear of abandonment, fear of being abused, all these other things, right? And so trying to be like this perfect wife all the time. Yes, I still love the Giants. I am thankful that he brought me into the football world, but
Okay.
we don't have to be like this.
Right.
And now we're two separate people. I do things on my own. He does things on his own, right? We learn how to like love ourselves. We have friends. We build our community, and also we're great partners,
Yes.
right? And we're still working and building our relationship, pouring in love there, but also pouring in love with ourselves as well.
Yeah, I love that because that first year, or what we come to marriage and we think like we're supposed to go everywhere together. Where are you going? I'm coming too. Let's go get the paper. Let's go get the this. Let's go. We'll get the paper. People read the paper on their iPads now, but we it's like we feel like two should be one, and
Mhm.
we'll be walking all around and doing things together. And what happens is something drops in, or children grow up, and then you
Mhm.
realize that you lost yourself. You can't find yourself. Where are you? And you have to bring that, call yourself back home. So yeah, that is really important. Um, what what would you give? What would you say to your younger self, Kezia?
Mm. Ooh. I would tell, I mean, depending on the age. So I would tell the 6 year old frightened Kezia, right, that you're safe, first of all. You're safe. Is not is has nothing to do with you. You are loved. You are cared for. People in your life love you and will not harm you, right? So just like reassure her and let her know that, she's safe and she's cared for and she's loved. And the 16, the teenage Kezzia who was just doing the most. She was doing the she was doing the most. I would tell her, like, you don't have to do that much. You don't have to do that much to show people how your worth. Like you're worthy of love, good love. You're worthy of good love. You're worthy of being respected and cared for, and you don't have to do much to get that. And then the adult me, the one who lost the child, I would say it's not your fault. You did all that you could have done at that time, Kezzia, and it's not your fault. Release it and release the grief and focus on the children that's in front of you. Right. And yeah, I think, I will break it up in that type of way.
Thank you. I want to share. I would like you to share
Yeah.
how one we can get this book
Mhm.
first of all, and this book is called My Self-Love Journal: The Hidden Treasures of Unconditional Love. And I the things that I want to say about here this book. I love that you could have put your name on this book in the front and you did
Mm,
not. You could
yeah.
have just called it something else, but it really stood out to me that it's my self-love journal. And I want to show this beautiful journal comes in this
Yes.
box.
Uh-huh.
It says love is inside. And I know some of you will use this box for something else,
Yes, I know my mom will.
but how beautiful it is. It's like it
Thank
comes
you.
in this beautiful, and then you can use this as your bookmark. And if you want to know a little bit more, there's there. And just a simple thank you. Simple thank you. And you get $5 off. Well, this
The
book,
book club.
this you did for the book club. So this is it for this one. I don't know if that'll continue, but
Well, it
um
is, anyone who wants to go through the book with me, you can sign up for the book club and we go through the journal together. Yeah.
oh wow.
Mhm.
Well, I think this is just an awesome package. So, how do we get this package? How do we get this?
Yeah. So thank you so much for those compliments. I worked on this book for 2 years and like I said, I'm delegated. I got my crown on, but I still struggle with perfection and I wanted it to be perfect. It's not mine's. And this is why it says, it's like yours. It gives you ownership immediately to it. It lets you know that there is love inside and there's love. You're capable, completely capable of loving yourself, right? So you can get this book on my website. It's called Healing Pages by KQH. It's very simple, .shop. So Healing Pages by KQH.shop. And it's 15% off right now. And then, like Jill said, if you want to join the book club, you can, and we can go through the book together. Sometimes journaling can be very intimidating and
Mm-hmm.
people are like, I don't know where to start. Like even my mom, she got the book and she was like, it's so pretty. I don't know where, I don't want to write in it. Right. So you can go through the book with me. I don't want you to feel like it's a task. This is yours. You can take a few months to do it. You could take a year. You could take a decade. It doesn't matter. Like it will always be here for you when you're ready for it. And also on all my other socials, KQH Counseling, TikTok, Instagram. And then the other side of this, right? So I'm not only an author, I'm a therapist, and that website is kqhcounseling.com.
So are you taking clients right now?
I'm always taking clients. I'm never refusing people. I am. So I'm completely virtual. I can only see people that's located in New York. So New York State. That's where my license is as a therapist. But if you're interested in like coaching and you have like so coaching is separate from therapy, right? So coaching, you have a specific goal. You're not depressed, you're not anxious, right? We don't have these mental health conditions, but you want help guiding you through a specific task or a specific goal. That's coaching. And I can do that nationwide to any worldwide, actually, to anyone.
That's awesome, awesome, awesome. And for our last part, as we complete, someone who wants to get started,
Mhm.
whether it's a journey in journaling or coming to you and having sessions, but they're nervous and anxious about getting started with therapy and using therapeutic tools, what
Yeah.
would you say to someone out here?
Well, actually, I created a therapy starter kit and it's completely free. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok at KQH Counseling, anyone who follows me, you immediately get a message from me and you get access to download this therapy starter kit. It has journaling prompts because obviously I love journal, but it also has tools on how to manage when you're feeling down, anxious, or stressed. It also helps you with, just understanding or taking more care when it comes to your thoughts. So, the way we think really impacts the way we feel and the things we do. So there's also techniques in there to kind of help you manage your self-talk. So it's available for anyone that wants it. It's there for you. The first step when you're thinking of going to therapy is trying to figure out what is it that you need.
Mhm.
What do you want to see happen? So my questions to all my clients when they first come see me is like, if you had a magic wand, right? And you could, give yourself 3 wishes. What would that wish be? How would your life change? And so, really asking yourself, what is it that you want? You want to be on task. So, especially if you're new to therapy, I think journaling is powerful because I encourage my clients, especially my new clients, to journal after the session. What are some things that you've gained? What are some things you want to talk about next time? So that way you're always on task for the next session.
Mhm.
So you don't need to know everything. You don't need to know exactly what you need to see change, but you need to know I want to feel something different. I want to not only I want to be happy, but I want to be able to not be sad all the time. So having some sort of idea around some kind of goal.
Awesome, awesome. And as we complete, what is something that you would like to say, whether it's a word or a phrase? Is there anything that you would like to just deposit into the space as we complete?
Yes. I think I'm gonna pull up. Mm. You know what? It just landed here, and this is what I'm going to say. We kind of spoke a little bit about releasing control, giving yourself some grace. So I think the serenity prayer is a really good one. And it goes like, if you haven't heard it before, this is how it goes. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I added this in here because the scientific thing around this is called radical acceptance. So
Mhm.
you're basically saying, I'm radically accepting my life right now, how it is right now today. I am learning the difference between what I can control and what I cannot control. Right. So I am completely releasing the things I cannot control. And I'm solely working on things that I can change. Right. So God granted me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Thank you so much for that. And I love that wisdom to know the difference because
That's the key.
yeah, that is key. That is key. I want to thank you so much for just taking your time out of your evening when you could be anywhere, when you could be with your family. Let them know that I appreciate them allowing me to steal you for an hour this evening. Thank you, and I will put your information along with your websites and how to get the journal in the notes. I so appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jill.
Yes, thank you. And
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I am your soul activist, your hypnotherapist, Jill Flowers, and more about me at jillflowers.com. Thank you all, and I will see you next time on our Healing Her Story with myself, Jill Flowers. Thank you, and good night, everyone.